I really enjoyed the last class, and because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what you all were thinking and how you were thinking and where things were. And so I thought, well, let's just keep it going, because I had a few slides that we didn't get to, and I just added some more. And so we're going to continue on with this, with different themes. And because of the nature of this class, and we want to kind of keep you on the edge of your seats, and we want to talk about real things. This is the next one we're going to talk about. So, might as well just jump into the deep end. You know what I mean? So here's what I need. I need 2 volunteers, and here's what I'd like as a volunteer. Now I need first off, someone who hasn't volunteered yet. So, no, I would like an international student. Ideally, somebody from, I don't know, let's just say India, right? Who's here from India? Bro, you ready? Is that you? Okay, you're on, man. And then I need someone who's not black, but who grew up, whose friends in high school, like whose friends growing up and in friends in high school were mostly black people, meaning like, you know, you're in the culture, like you got it. Is that you? Well, hang on, you're brown though. You look brown. You look mixed. No, you can't be mixed. No. You Dominican? No, that's black. That's close enough. Come on, man. It's close enough. No, give me somebody else. Who else? Who like really grew up in a black community? Bro, you? What's your background? Lebanese. Lebanese? Oh, nah. Okay, come on, man. All right. What's that? What's the attendance question? Oh man, hey, if your name's not on the attendance sheet, talk to the team and Dr. Newvine or Lauren after class. Cool? Just talk to them right after class. Don't just write your name in anywhere. Make sure you talk to them. We'll get you on. Okay, bro, what's your name?
My name's Karen, and I was born in India, but I moved here when I was like 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. Bro, you're going to have to sit down. I got to get somebody else. All right. I need an international student who is really an international student. I mean, like fresh off the airplane. Right? Somebody. Is that you? No, not you. Ideally from India. Or who do we got? Where's your hand again? Bro, is that you? All right, come on. When did you get here? How long have you been in the U.S.? Oh, wait, you're Chilean. All right, we'll take you. All right. You don't even live. You're from Chile. You're just visiting.
Yeah.
Even better. All right, what's your name again?
Nicholas.
Nicholas? Bro, and what is it?
Corinne.
Corinne? Yeah. Talk right in the mic. Okay, Corinne. So here's what we're doing. You weren't here the other day. Here's what's happening. You all, the two of you can sit up here if you want, just to get comfortable. What you're doing is teach the class something about the N-bomb. Okay? Mm-hmm. Something that they need to know. And let's just put you in the deep end. Jump in. So you're from Chile.
Yeah.
And you're visiting. Talk right into the mic. Teach us something about the N-bomb.
Excuse me. What is the N-bomb?
What is? Okay, he'll go first. Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Dude, that's beautiful. All right. Wait, let's find out. Wait, how many?
or maybe another.
No. You don't understand. This is beautiful. How many of you don't know what the N-bomb is? Wait, 1? Seriously, you don't know either? 2? Anyone else? You shouldn't know. You shouldn't necessarily know. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Bro, what do you think it is? Wait,
No, I actually know what it is.
Oh, you do know what it is? Bro, who else said, do you know what it is or do you have an idea? You don't have any idea? Really? Okay, hang on. What do you think it is? Wait, hang on. Pass the mic down to that dude. This is going to be great. Wait, can you stand up, actually? So,
the first time I saw the word M-bomb on the screen, I think of the World War II that American people did in Japan. So I really have no idea about an M-bomb.
Whoa. All right. That's wild. Where are you, like, where are you from?
I'm from China,
From China?
so I really don't have the cultural background of the M-bomb. So I
Okay.
asked her, and she explained something to me, but I still don't get
What did
across.
wait, hang on. What did she say?
She
Wait, are you getting him? Are you getting him on the
she-
overhead team?
she spelled a word on her phone. She said she cannot say the word.
Wait, is that the white woman sitting there or the brown woman?
Yeah.
The white woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, dog, she can't say that word, right? Yeah. All right. Wait, can you say it though? You're mixed. Hang on, we'll get to you. All right, thanks. You can pass the mic this way. All right. All right, bro. So
Okay.
what you know is it's a word you can't say. Okay, we're gonna
Okay.
start there.
Okay.
We're gonna see if you can figure it out.
Okay.
Go ahead, man. Yeah, they teach them something about. Yeah, what would you teach the world? Yeah, okay. So you're teaching him, and you're teaching him about the M-bomb.
So the N-word, it was originally, like really originated when there was slavery going on in this country. And it was a word that was used to demean black people, people from Africa, just people, almost like if they were colored, they would almost be either called the N-word or called colored. And that's where it started. And now, transitioning into our society today, I would say I've lived all over the place. And if I live in a white community, well, predominantly white community, I hear the word going around as if it was a normal word, and like just not with the hard R, which I guess makes it worse. And then I've also lived in Philadelphia, where white people would really like refrain from saying it. I would say like the minority groups and like black people, they say it and it's fine, but I would say like white people in areas that are not predominantly white would always refrain from it. Just because I guess, like they're either scared or, they don't want to say it or they're not comfortable saying it. And I feel like a lot of my black friends, and if I have used the N-word, they're not like bashing me for it, maybe because I'm not white. And I feel like it's more widely accepted now than it was ever before. But in some communities, it's more like, not accepted.
So
like before.
do you drop it with an R at the end or an A at the end?
A at the end.
And give me a situation in which you might drop it. Because he still he still doesn't know yet. Like, what's the situation in which you might drop it with your friends? All the black people are holding their breath right now. They're like, come on, man. Don't dig a hole for yourself.
And go up to, probably my black friend, just be like, yo, what's up?
And, yeah, all right. Where'd you learn that?
Huh?
Where did you learn that?
I actually learned it. So when I came to America, I lived in like a more Latino town, and I heard the word being thrown around, and I was like, like, what does that word mean? And I talked to my cousins, and they were like, yo, don't say it. It's not good, refrain from it. And it just never got brought up in conversation. And then I just kind of started hearing it in like, on some videos on YouTube, World Star. And like, that's when I like started like learning about it again. And I was like, okay. So I asked a black person, because I've clued it together, like, I see a lot of black people using it, so I just want to ask them what it is. And I had a lot of black friends that I was comfortable with, and I asked them what it meant, and they were like, yeah, like, it comes from this and comes from this, and they just told me because, I was comfortable with them, and like, it wasn't a big deal.
Okay, final question, and then you're on, bro. Did one of your friends ever literally give you permission to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can say it, man. Did they give you the context within which you could say it, or like, you listen around these people, but don't say it around so-and-so, or like?
No,
How
I mean,
was
it's
that?
just like, it's more of a norm thing, like, fit it into context more than just like, they're not like, oh, you're not allowed to say it, you're not black.
Okay, I got it, yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed to say it, nothing like that. I feel like ever came up with me personally.
Okay, all right, so it's Nicholas.
Yeah.
So So give us what you know about the N-bomb.
Oh, I think now I know the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Chile, and there we listen this word a lot. But
Where do you hear the word?
I don't know. The same, maybe YouTube, social medias,
Uh-huh.
and yeah. When I came here, I learned that this word I can say normally to whatever any
You learn you can't say that?
yeah.
Do you hear people saying it in Chile?
Yeah, maybe, but it's not common there.
Yeah.
I think, well, because the Spanish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear about that.
Yeah.
Word.
So more on like
It's
on
not
the
used
media.
to
Have you heard that you're not supposed to say it,
it.
or that it's a bad word or whatever?
I think one time I didn't know, but I say the word, and my girlfriend there say me that I don't have to say that because yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Because you could, yeah, it could be some kind of way.
Mhm.
Hmm. Who's got a question? I got a lot of questions for this guy, but who has a question? Wants to kick something up? All right, here we go. You can stand up really fast. It helps, and say your name. Yeah, that way cameras can pick you up. And
Okay, so my name's Sophie. I'm actually Venezuelan, so I understand where you're coming from, not really knowing what the N-word means here, but do you think that the way that we use it in Spanish and in South America is different than the way that is used here because of context and stuff?
Oh, can you repeat more?
Yes.
Slow.
So we have a very
Say it in
similar
Spanish.
word. ¿Tú crees que la palabra a que ellos se refieren tiene un contexto diferente, significa algo diferente en América del Sur comparado acá en los Estados Unidos?
Yo creo que. Oh, I think. Sorry. I think yes, have a different. I don't know, because I don't. I usually don't use the word in my.
give me, what's the worst swear word you use in Chile? What's like the worst thing you can say in Chile?
Maybe we have a very similar word, but you can use the word weon,
Well,
yeah, and you can say to your friend,
yeah, they
Yeah.
teach us. So if we go to Chile, if anybody goes to Chile, they can like.
yeah. In Chile, you can say this word to your friend, but if you say to a person who you don't know,
Like, or your professor.
yeah, you can say weon to your professor. Yeah. It's so bad. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else. And one more question. You got. All right, man. And stand up too, so we just grab you on camera.
Hello. So, like, hypothetically, if you don't have the end card and it comes out when you're, like, singing a song or whatever, should there, like, be repercussions or...
Dude, let's ask him. Like, when you're singing along on a song and it comes out, it's in the song, do you say it or do you not say it?
I think it's just like what you're personally comfortable with. I always say it. There's never been a problem. And like, I've said it like many times even before I knew what the word meant, and it was never a problem. It wasn't a problem after I said it. And I think it's just like, you just go with it. If you really avoid it, like you can, but it's not really a big deal. Like, you're just making a statement if you do avoid it.
Dude, listen, black people, the Indian guy is speaking for all of you, so you want to say something, like whatever. He's only saying that's his vision. Anyone else want to say? Dude, you want to say it? Gentleman in the back? Oh, dog, I had a Dude, do me a favor. Can you take this mic up there? You're young. You got it. Yeah, like I'm really curious about that. You know, song comes on, you know, you're jamming along with the tune. Do you just kind of like leave that out or whatever? Wait there. You can bring the mic back down. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So real quick,
Wait, is this Sean again?
yes, sir.
Dude.
My man on the right, why do you think you or your other non-black counterparts, if I use that word, why do you guys have such a desire to use the word, even if it's in a song? That's my only thing, right? That's my only thing.
That's a good question. Good question. All right, that's a cool question. Where's the desire to use the word come from, even if it's in a song or whatever? Cool question, man. Okay.
I think
Just for you, just speak for you. Where's the desire to
I would
use
say
it come from?
I would say there's no certain desire to say it. I would say the culture that I have grown up in and like the way I learned, it was always generally accepted, and it was never just brought up to me. Be like, I mean, especially when I first came here, they're like, don't say it, and I didn't, and I really didn't know why. And then after that, when I started living in Philadelphia, I started learning what it was, and it came up in normal speech. I didn't go out of my way to say it. I just said it, and I never had like a desire, like, oh, I'm singing a song just for the reason of saying the N-word.
No, I got you. So it becomes like, for example, anybody when we're young people and we learn to swear. Let's just put it on the level of language, and we learn to kind of swear. Where's that? If people around you are using certain words like shit or whatever, or what was it again? What's the Chilean word?
Weon?
Weon. Weon. If you're starting to say weon, you're going to just start to say weon because you kind of want to fit in with your friends. So what you're saying is so you got all these black friends. They're saying it. They're like, you just want to fit in with them. So you're going to say it like somebody else who grows up in central Pennsylvania or like in Pittsburgh, you all say yins. It's like, why do you say yins? It's not even a word, but you do, right? So you fit in and you're like yins. All right, yins. So it's something that's the cool question. Thanks, man. Anybody else? Any final thing? Anybody want to say anything? Or are we good to go? Wait, I do. I have a question. No, I do have a question actually for somebody who's black, who's got white friends, and you're hanging out, and you've got the music playing. Wait, dude? You have white friends? Yeah, dude. All right, you have white friends too? Oh, Doug. All right, man. You ready, bro? So you have white friends. You're singing a tune. On the M-bomb, it comes up, and you got to drop it. Do you drop it? And you got white people you're not really sure are cool or not. Do you drop it, or do you just like not say it? Do you?
Do I drop it?
Yeah, do you? Do you say it, or do you not say it?
No, I say it. I'm black.
All right. So you say around white friends, it's cool. You say it doesn't really matter. That's my question. Like, do you like say, nah, I don't want to reinforce this?
I feel like especially on an athletic team where you have so many different cultures and people from ethnic backgrounds and different geographical destinations, the white kids on our team, I think, have enough respect and understanding because they've been around us enough that they don't even have to question whether to say it or not. They just kind of listen to the song as we vibe out.
Yeah, I got you.
So it's like, I can still say it.
All right, dude. Cool, man. What's your name, by the way?
CJ.
Oh, you're CJ again. Dude, damn, man. What are you doing? If they what?
I got it.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. Everyone in the room face the screen because I don't want anyone to feel awkward. If you are white and you're listening to Mo Bamba, raise your hand if you use the word.
Wait, and... Dude, nah, come on, man. Liars. All right, only by yourself. All right, man. All right, gentlemen, you're done. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.
We're good to go?
I think we're done. Thanks, man. We'll go to the next one. Appreciate it. Thank you. What do we got? All right, Nick. All right. Next one.
Yo, the YouTube chat's wild today. Fucking wild.
What's that?
It's wild today.
Is it? Twitter stream?
No,
Or
YouTube. I had to already censor 3 people.
All right, listen, man. Ideally, we're going to talk about this one. Ideally, someone who is not Jewish, I need a volunteer who can teach us something about this. You want to go with it? All right. What's your name?
Lexi.
Lexi?
Yeah.
You can have a seat. If you're more comfortable, you can stand. Doesn't really matter. All right, teach us something about anti-Semitism.
So I went to a school and everyone was white and everyone was like Christian or Catholic. And I didn't really know anyone who was Jewish before this. And I came here and met like my first like Jewish friends and everything. And I learned a lot, and I learned like that it's not like they like all like, I gotta think about this. So I was asking my friends the other day like why they always do like clubs and why they always celebrate it and like why they are like kosher or not and stuff like that. And they were saying that how like no one's really Jewish anymore, like it's a small population, and they like want to like spread it by like going on birthright and stuff like that. So I like learning a lot about it, but I'm not Jewish. I don't know anything really about it.
So you're in the process right now of learning
So yeah,
about,
and I like wanted to.
But what is anti-Semitism?
Okay, so anti-Semitism is like when people are prejudiced towards people that are Jewish and they don't like them and do like hate crimes, and they're like, oh well, you're Jewish, so you're like cheap or like stuff like that.
So it's stereotypes against Jews.
Yeah.
Like being cheap. Did you learn that growing up?
I actually like did. I didn't have any Jewish friends at home, but my friends would always like use that term. They'd be like, "Stop being Jewish." If I was like, "I don't want to spend money on food."
So that was a standard.
Yeah. So that's
stereotype
like
of
that's
Jewish
what
people.
like people would say.
Yeah, got you. All right. Anybody have any questions? Who's got a question? Any Jewish people have a question? Like, wait, yeah. Give me a question from someone who's Jewish. Anybody? Who's got a question? Dude, man, I'm going all over. All right, Mom. What's your name?
I'm Aaron.
Dude, you can stand up and throw your question out.
So my question is...
Wait, what's your name? Lexi.
Lexi.
All right.
Lexi, do you know anything about like Zionism and the difference between Zionism and being Jewish?
Whoa.
Can you tell me what Zionism is?
So Zionism isn't a belief that...
Wait, hang on. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the answer is no. All right. We can get into this. We'll get into it. Yeah, that's a good question. Yep. Later in the semester. We're just touching lots of things today. We're going to come back to all this stuff. Who else has a question for Lexi? Anybody have a question? You don't know much about anti-Semitism.
Yeah, ask me questions.
Yeah, but you don't know anything. So, you know. No, I don't mean like you don't know anything about this, right? Which is fine.
I could talk about the thing that happened in Pittsburgh with the synagogue.
Okay.
shooting.
Are you from Pittsburgh?
No.
All right. No, go ahead. Give us that. Because a lot of people don't know.
Oh, ask a question.
Okay, so my family is from Squirrel Hill, and they're a few blocks away from the Tree of Life Synagogue. So why are synagogues a place of targeting for all these anti-hate crimes?
Dude, nice. Do you know that?
What I think it would be that people don't know a lot about Jewish people and stuff, so they would, instead of going somewhere where there's other people of other religions, if they want to show hate, they're going to do it where it's like the most sacred part of your religion, and they're going to do it where they know they're only targeting Jewish people, because other people in other religions most likely won't be at a synagogue, and if it is, it's probably like one person.
And why Jews? Like, look at these. Why Jews? Do you have a thought on that? You can say no.
I don't know. I don't know enough to say, but maybe because they aren't like the original like Roman Catholic and stuff, how they was always spread throughout Europe and then it was brought to the United States. It's just like a little different than that. And then, yeah.
That's cool. All right. Good, man. We're going to talk about this in class because it really is, in many ways, the longest hatred in the United States. So, all right, Lexi. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, you're on. That was cool. All right, you ready?
Yo.
By the way,
talk about attendance.
Talk about what? Yo. Yo, by the way, attendance is by last name, so you don't have to like look through the whole sheet. It's your last name first, so look for that. Alphabetical order. That makes so much sense that we would just not randomly put names on a piece of paper. It's amazing how that operates. All right, you ready? All right. Is that you? You want to do it? Well, any men in here want to? No, not you, bro. Wait. Nah, dude, you were down already. Okay, come on up. You're on. You're on.
Okay.
What's your name?
Caitlin.
Well, you can have a seat.
Should I say my name?
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Caitlin. I'm from Hershey, PA. Okay. The MeToo movement basically became
So
more
remember,
popular.
you're teaching the class
Yeah.
about Me. They don't know anything about Me Too. So
Okay, so pretty much it's a movement of women coming out when they're like sexually assaulted and like raped and stuff, and a lot of the situations happened like way in the past, but they're all coming out now and they're like, me too, this happened to me, because they've been oppressed and they haven't been able to speak up, so now they are. And that's kind of what the movement is doing. And it's like in like the sister movement, I guess, is the Time's Up movement, which is like trying to stop the sexual assault from happening, pretty much.
what's Time's Up? What is that?
Time's Up is another
Hashtag that people are using?
hashtag, yeah, for sexual assault and
Okay.
raising awareness for it and trying to stop it.
Okay, so Me Too then.
Mhm.
Do you know how it got started?
I don't know how it got started, but I just started reading about it and like getting into it more when the Harvey Weinstein stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know a lot of how it started or a lot of how it happened, but I think it is really important because this stuff happens like way too much, like, and it happens so often, like no one knows about it ever unless you speak up.
And do you know people?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Women, I should say. Do you know women?
Yes.
And men. Is it for men also?
I
mean, are men using the hashtag?
They're not using it. It's basically like, I don't want to say 100%, but it's basically like all towards women. But that isn't saying that there aren't sexual assaults that men are the victims of.
Okay. All right. Question. Who's got a question? All right, bro. Wait, what's your name again?
Caitlin.
Caitlin. All right.
All right. My name's Keyshawn, and I have, obviously, I have a question. How do you feel about some women in the Me Too movement, how they give, like, accusations that aren't true, and it's ruining some men's lives? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that part is really bad about it. Like, I mean, obviously you're just not honest or like really that good of a person if you're trying to bring someone's whole life down with something like that. And I think those types of situations, even though they happen, I don't think that's like really what Me Too is like geared towards, I guess.
All right. Can you get another microphone? So somebody in the back and then here. Hey, by the way, if you are when we're talking about these things, and if you feel like, hey, like anti-Semitism, we didn't even scratch the surface of that. We're gonna do a whole class on that. Like we are not. This isn't like people say, oh, you should have said this or you should have. Right now, it's fact finding. So here, we have Caitlin, right, who's just comes down and says, hey, I'll talk about this. And I could just randomly pull anybody out of the class, and then, we just say, all right, what do you know? We don't expect anyone to know a lot. Once in a while, people will know a lot. And so we're just trying to see, and we're playing with it. So we're seeing where we're at. Okay, Hang on, let me go. I'm going to go here first. Let me go here first. Yes, man.
So a lot of people think
Wait,
that...
can you stand up, actually?
Do I have to?
No, you don't have to. Go ahead. What's your name?
Louisa.
Louisa? Okay, go ahead.
A lot of people happen to believe that this whole Me Too movement is surrounded about women thinking that they just need a moment in the spotlight. What is your reaction to that?
I really don't think it's just a moment in spotlight type of thing because, like, this could be some woman's secret that she's been keeping for 10 or 20 years, depending on how old you are. And I doubt she's just gonna like come out and use all that courage to just like get 1 minute of fame. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, cool. Bro.
I'm Daniel. So up here. Understandable that there are certain cases that may be false accusations and whatnot. With those cases, do you feel like there should be repercussions for the female or the victim or proposed victim as to, you know, potentially trying to ruin someone else's life out of spite or hatred or whatever it may be?
Did you say take different precautions? What,
No,
sorry, can you say it again?
Repercussions, like punishment of like whatever it may be it fines.
Oh, punishment for like lying about that?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because that didn't happen. So, I mean, it would be really hard, but I bet there's like some way that you could figure out if it like really did actually happen or not, and then they can like get like defamation of character or something.
Okay, one final question. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to come back to the ruining men's lives because obviously you can still become president of the United States with sexual assault allegations. So,
True.
Regardless of if you did it or not,
make it a question. Yep.
Okay. Do you think that it actually ruins men's lives when they become president of the United States, even if they have several sexual allegations against them?
Probably should not be like
No,
that.
hang on.
Ever,
We're going to make it an
where our president
open-ended.
is doing
Wait,
that.
hang on. Before you answer, we're going to make it an open-ended question. How much do you think it ruins men's lives when, in fact, they can then go on, when they have credible allegations against them, and when they've admitted it themselves, in fact, and then go on and become president of a country like the United States? How much?
How much it ruins their lives?
Yep.
Well, I mean, obviously not really that much if you see all these people like being accused. I mean, some like obviously Harvey Weinstein, that's like a whole mess. Kevin Spacey's getting like charged or whatever, but a lot of these people, you like hear about it happen in the news and it's big for like maybe a couple months and then you like never hear about it again and everybody goes back to normal. So
Okay.
it's not really ruining their lives that much.
Okay. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. Hey, I want to say one. I want to say one thing really fast. So I alluded to this, and I want to say it in a different way. Look, one of the things that's really, really important in a class like 119 is that we bring different perspectives out into the room and different ideas and see where we're at and see where we think, and then take certain ideas or thoughts back into the discussion groups, okay? And then back in here, like for example, when we come back to this topic. So, for example, what we know, I'm just going to say, I'm going to say this about this topic, what I'm about to say, because I just think it's really important to build a sense of understanding of where we're at and where we're going to be. According to the numbers of sexual assault, a very high number of women and a much lower and yet extraordinarily, surprisingly high number of men, not much lower, but a lower number of men, are sexually assaulted before the age of 20 or 21, or certainly throughout their lives. And that means that most of you in here, a very high percentage of you in here have had the experience, some experience of sexual assault. And in some ways it can be, if we go by the numbers, okay, starting as children, if we go by the numbers, and I want to put this in perspective here, if could just so we can do this, can everybody in this, hang on, everyone in the first section except these 2 rows, can you all just stand up? Right? Okay. So this is about the number of people in this classroom who have already experienced sexual assault in some way. Unwanted sexual touching, unwanted behavior, unwanted something that's sexual, that's really not just, a pat on the back or something. Like, no. That's how many people. So this is a really serious issue. And you look at how many people are just in this classroom, y'all, right? Just in the classroom. So, yeah. And so I certainly appreciate the idea of, like, the question, we asked a question about, men's lives and what about women who lie. Well, it's like, and that's an important question. And it's a question that white people often bring up about experiences of discrimination. Well, what did you do? Well, what's your role in it? Well, what could you have done? Or, well, is that really what happened? Or is that it's always, because you don't want to believe these things. Anyway, first up, go sit down. Thanks. And we'll talk, maybe I'll just start in next class talking about like what we know and how we know it. Maybe we'll just start right there, because I actually have a really good story that we could talk about that really matters. And so these are all really, these are good questions. But they're all, and these are also really serious issues. So the reason I stopped on that and just said a few things, and I haven't on any of the other topics, is because this is deeply personal to a very large number of us. And everybody, all of us, every single one of us knows people, and many, many people have experienced sexual assault, I don't like to use, there are certain words that people use a lot, like violence. And it's like, yes, sometimes that's the perfect word, but oftentimes it's just finding a way to talk about this stuff that feels real. So anyway, so we're going to have really honest and open conversations in here about stuff, okay? But also it's really important that we trust each other to be able to go to the places that we need to go to. Is that cool? We good? Okay, so I'm going to need, we can focus on white nationalism here. I need someone, give me someone who really can say something about this, who really can, hang on, I'm saving you actually, hold tight. Someone who can really say something about the alt-right and white nationalism. Who's got this? Who can teach us something? This is real, this is big. Anybody? Anyone want to take it? Okay, you're on. Our class communist. Wait. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Leslie. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of you.
No, don't. Tell us about the alt-right.
All right. Can I swear?
No, you can't swear. Pretend your grandmother's watching.
Which one, the dead one?
Yeah, the dead one. No, she's definitely watching. Yeah. No, don't swear. It won't be good.
Okay. So, white nationalists are these guys who have been...
So these guys?
Yeah. They're a bit of a special bunch. If there's any white nationalists in the room, I'm about to offend you, but I don't really care about you anyway, so,
It's not likely there are any white nationalists. There might be a few.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The guy in the Flyers jersey, maybe.
Nah, I wouldn't put that evil on him.
All
No.
right, I got it. Okay, well.
So they're basically sort of bought into this ideology that goes all the way back, like even past like what you think of like Hitler and like the neo-Nazi movement, but all the way back to the origins of like slavery and European imperialism and eugenics and all this stuff. This idea that because your skin is a certain tone, you're like better than everybody else, and that there should be some sort of like white separatist movement where all the white people move to Oregon and they create this beautiful like capitalist utopia because everybody's white, so there's no crime and everything's perfect, and also no gays. So, you know, that's kind of their
also
deal.
No gays, you got to throw that in.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of intersection between like racism and homophobia and transphobia and stuff like that, because they think it's edgy to hate on people who don't have as much power as them because they feel emasculated by the economic system that they're in. Because beforehand, if you were a white man in America, especially like 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way up to really like the mid 70s, you could just like get a high school education, get a good job, often a union job that will allow you to buy a house and support a family and be the sole breadwinner. And now, because economic conditions have changed and wages have been depressed and unions have been totally obliterated and shipping jobs overseas and
There we go. All right.
Is that a shut up whistle or a keep going whistle?
Oh yeah, no, dude. They're like
Yeah.
they're really
Yeah.
appreciating
Yeah.
your Bernie Sanders
Global
socialism.
I'm further left than him, but thank you.
Yeah. All right, wait, hang on. Let me see if we got a question for you.
Yeah,
Who's got
please.
a question?
I'm good at running my mouth, but I don't want to just run my mouth.
Wait, it's Leslie?
Yes, hello. Yes, hi.
All right. Wait, did you ask a question the other day? Wait, hang on. Someone who hasn't asked a question of Leslie. Oh, dude, wait, is there at the top over there? Yeah. Someone who hasn't asked a dude, you are the class socialist.
Yeah.
Seriously. Every class needs one. All right,
Every
go
class
ahead.
needs several, actually.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how the alt-right recruits people and like preys on suburban white kids?
Yeah, so a lot of times there's recruitment done through the internet or just like through like friends or friends of friends and associates. And they often target kids who are normally either entering adolescence or in adolescence, so they're feeling like weird and vulnerable because hormones, and they're becoming adults, so they have more responsibilities, and they're thinking, oh crap, I'm going to graduate high school, what am I going to do with my life? And unfortunately, there's also a lot of these people maybe suffer from untreated mental health issues, which is sad because they could, with the right like help and medication and stuff. I'm on medication.
Oh, wait,
I should
hang
know
on.
this
Hang
shit.
on. Oh, wait,
And-
hang on. All right. Okay, hang on. We got that. All right, next one. Yes. Dude, you're the best. I'm telling you. All right, yes, go ahead.
Good
Hey,
Lord, I look a
Leslie,
mess.
I just want to say, hey, I went to your high school. My name is
Oh, hey!
What's up?
Wow.
I'm just curious to see what is your answer to this question. So how did your upbringing affect your interest in this topic and your opinions right now?
I mean, my parents didn't talk a lot about politics, believe it or not. So this isn't just like, oh, you just think this because you're indoctrinated or whatever. Nah. I mean, like, my parents were like, my mom was like a old school, like, Vietnam War protester. So we've been known for raising havoc, but they let me form my own opinions. So I got older, I learned more about history and the government and intersections between all these different social groups and material conditions in a lot of different societies. And I did a lot of reading and formed some opinions and then got loud and boisterous about them because that's what I do.
Have you met any black people who are white nationalists?
Black people who are white nationalists?
Yeah.
No.
I have.
No? You've met black people who are
I
white
have.
Okay.
My friend.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice. Yeah. I'll see if I can bring one in. Dude, man, you are awesome. We'll come back to this issue, by the way. Nice question at the top, bro. Okay, let's do that. Who wants to do this? Kind of go. Can you? You know who needs to answer this question the most? I need the person who might be the biggest social justice warrior in the class. Nah, it is you, probably. Anybody else? Could that be you, bro? Anybody else? Do you know what I mean by social justice warrior? It's not a word you use these days? I don't use it. Who could? Okay, maybe not the biggest, but anybody want to take it? Safe spaces, we're going to do this one really fast. All right, dude, you're on. You got the smiley. You haven't been up here, right?
Never, no.
All right, come on up, man. You got a smiley face
Yeah,
on your hat? All right. What's your name?
I'm Gio, or Giovanni.
Giovanni?
Nice to meet you.
Class meet Giovanni. Safe spaces, bro. Teach us.
Basically, the idea of safe spaces is like an area where basically like to be like somewhat comfortable-ish, or like something is like too out of the realm of like where you're comfortable to say something. And that, I think it brings up the idea of like when people come to like college campuses like Mile Yiannopoulos or like Ben Shapiro, people like feel like they need a safe space. They don't feel comfortable being in that area where they have the, I guess, like more radical ideas, or somebody can say something more different than they're used to it or want to hear. So they need like a safe space.
Wait, hang on. So you're telling me of somebody who's like, it's all right-wingers, right? Do people need safe spaces from left-wingers? Like if Bernie Sanders came, would conservative students say, oh, we need a safe space because Bernie's here? I'm feeling the burn.
I feel like it comes down to, I feel like for conservatives, it comes down to the whole entire idea of like free speech, and you should be okay listening to different point of views and not being a big issue.
Okay, so we bring some conservatives, some really conservative speaker to campus, and that person's speaking in here, okay? So where would we have a safe space? Like out in the hallway, another classroom, across campus?
I think it would just be like another hallway, so like somewhere like they feel like comfortable and safe, and they don't have to like listen to those like radical ideas.
But you wouldn't have to listen to it if you just didn't come.
But then it comes like you have like people that like want to protest it and don't want to have it on campus at all.
Okay, I got you. All right. Anyone have a quick question? I just asked a few. Anyone have a question? You want to ask? Wait, you weren't up here, right? Oh, you're the Lebanese guy yep, got it. What's your name?
Ali.
Ali.
Do you think being politically correct ruined comedy today? Because every comedian can't even say a single joke without being like shunned.
I think in regards to comedy, it's about knowing your crowd, or like knowing who you're around. Because like, just like you don't want to like, it's hard not to offend. I'm not gonna say it's hard to offend not people today, but it's like you just gotta know who you're around and like be comfortable and like know your crowd, and like you don't want to say something to offend somebody, like if like you know that's gonna hurt them a different type of way.
But what if you did? Like, what if you did offend them? I mean, what does that mean? Like, what does it matter if you offended somebody?
I mean, I think at that point it just comes down to like your moral and your ethics and how you feel about making other people feel. Is what I would say.
Dude, let's test. Yeah, great question, man. Okay, wait. Who have I offended in either last week or at some point today? Who have I offended? And what did I say to offend them? You did? The pothead? Okay. What? What?
You don't call on me, and that offends me.
Oh, yeah. All right. I got you. Yeah. All right. Guy's like doing bong hits out here in the exit door, and he's like, dude. Wait, seriously. This guy. I'm telling you what. He doesn't even invite the rest of us in to his fun, you know? No, seriously. Who have I offended? Who have I offended in some way, and what did I say? And come on, man, say it. Like, who have I don't mean offended with a big, oh my God, I'm so offended. Who felt like I said something or did something or invited something in the room that you just felt, I'm not really comfortable with that. It's like, no, not offended, like, oh my God, I'm so offended. No, like, nah, I'm not feeling that. I'm kind of, somebody, come on, man. I'm going to start pushing stuff. I haven't offended anybody. Seriously? Dudes, come on, man. Yo, the dude in the plaid, you should be offended. You should be offended by your plaid. Oh, my God. All right, hang on. I'm just kidding, dude. All right. Hey, guys. All right, hang on. Wait. Pass that down. Bro, you're going to be the arbiter of this, okay? Because you're the politically correct guy. Okay, what's your name?
Jenna, I'm not a dude.
Oh, you're a
but
woman.
that's
Oh,
chill.
my God.
It's pretty chill. Yeah, I got the
Oh,
haircut.
wait, hang on. I have to oh, my God. Jenna.
I'm sorry I have short hair and my
wait,
tits
can you
aren't
stand
out.
up really first off? Do you know how awesome it is that you're a woman, that I'm calling you a guy?
I also don't
You're-
identify as a woman.
You don't identify as a woman?
Yes.
Beautiful. Even better. All right.
That's what I wanted to talk about is
Okay.
I don't necessarily feel offended, but I often feel left out of the conversation because
Yep.
I don't identify as a man or woman.
Okay, cool. Oh, my God. So yes, it's not offended. That's cool. That's awesome. I was actually going to put this up. We're going to do a whole class, and you're going to be sitting in the front. Indeed. Yep.
Sam, I have
That
another
was a
one.
very female gesture, by the way. Although,
Sam.
Okay. Yes.
Over here.
But you don't identify as wait, hang on, just really fast. You don't identify as a man or a woman, but just a mix of what you are. A gender. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, no, you're gonna be talking. Okay. Yeah, final quick question.
I didn't specifically feel offended, but I felt like you offended other people. So I felt offended on their behalf for them.
Yeah,
'cause of
what
things that
did
you
I
said.
say?
The whole colorism conversation was kind of misplaced, and you offended both the pale girl and the dark guy.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, good. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. Well, at least I offended everybody. I'm an equal opportunity offender. Actually, we're going to come. It's awesome that you said that. What's your name, by the way? Patty. It's awesome that you said that because we're going to come back to that and we're going to talk about skin and we're going to talk about body, physical features, and we're going to talk about them. One of the things that I do is normalize all of our different physical features, right? And so part of me in that moment is just normalizing. It's like, listen, you have light skin, you have dark skin, you have this, you have that. That it's all just part of the process. So we'll get into that. Thanks for saying that. That was very cool. Dude, I think your job is done.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, Gio.
Thank you.
All right. Jeff, anybody on the chat room getting annoyed? Yeah. They are? Okay.
Dude, it's YouTube comments. You're always going to be offended by everything.
They just get offended by the fact that people are offended?
Yeah.
Do they get offended by their own being offended?
The most recent comment, I hate socialism very much, and it was very triggering to me.
Dude, you're triggering people. Oh, my God. Yeah, I love that. All right. Hey, the attendance sheets are moving along, right? Can everyone just raise your hand where the attendance sheet is? Okay, we're there. We're good.
You have a sheet.
It's
Just
happening.
hold it up so I can
Okay,
see
just
it.
keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Oh, you guys
okay.
are doing great.
Who wants to do climate change? Yo, this is an important one, by the way. Yeah. Not a social justice. No, not you, dude. Wait, hang on. Bro, you're on. What's your name?
Morgan.
Morgan? Dude. Oh my God. Wait, hang on. You have to come up too. Okay, have a seat over here. Yeah, where are you from, bro?
Pottstown.
Okay, and what's your name?
Morgan.
Dude, it's the two Morgans. All right. All right, who wants to go first? Let's go. Teach us about Morgan M.
Okay,
Teach us.
so this is something that's going to become a huge issue due to global warming. So a lot of areas that are coastal are going to be displaced due to rising temperatures, rising ocean levels, and we're not going to be able to put them anywhere, and it's going to become a problem that we really have to solve and deal with.
And
Wait, hang on. Go a little further.
So
what people are who, what, where, how?
So global warming, I hope everyone believes in that, is an issue, and it's causing national ice caps are melting, ocean levels are rising, and as a result, like a lot of coastal areas, small islands like the Philippines and stuff like that might not be around within the next like 20 years. And those people that live there are going to be forced out of there to wherever, and we have to accommodate them or try and limit the reactions of global warming.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Morgan, number 2.
Like over 50% of the world's population lives within 50 miles of a coastline. So with rising ocean levels, that's going to displace like billions of people. And the people that face the biggest impacts of climate change, especially right now, are people in poverty that don't have the ability to move very easily or have access to like clean water and food as much either.
So look at the two of you. Look at this room of people, right? You just said some really intense. If I interpret what the two of you just said, it basically is that nobody in this classroom, by the time you get to be my age, your world is going to be really, really, really different. So how are they going to be affected?
I think there'll be a lot of overpopulation issues because we're going to have to accommodate so many people, and I feel it would be unethical to just reject them. Like there's a lot of refugee issues that are going on. And
like these folks here.
Yeah, and we're kind of turning a blind eye to it, but it's become a serious issue, and we're going to have to take action against it, and it's not going to be like, oh, we can just ignore it.
So where in the United States are we going to, where are we going to run into this?
Already all along the coastlines and like Miami, New Orleans, and like in the south down there, Gulf of Mexico, especially.
Yeah, so like New Orleans is going to be gone. Yeah. Like I think I read that by the time most of you are like my age, a third of Florida is going to be underwater. So it's like I don't know where you're going to go on. Like where are you going to go for where your kids going to go for spring break? You know what I mean? They're going to go to Fort Lauderdale. Like what are they going to do? Who else? Who has a question? Yes. Hang on. Damn dog. Climate refugees, man.
So my question, my name is Rob, by the way. My question for either of you who want to answer it is, there are earlier projections like you see in Al Gore's 2001 film, An Inconvenient Truth, that already predicted a lot of these coastlines and a lot of these land masses to have been underwater by years before today. Going forward, you were saying that these same things are going to happen when these estimates were made 20 years ago, that by now it would be there, and it's not. So I'm not a climate change denier. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you hear all these estimates about people going underwater, but the rate of change so far has been one that is been relatively people have been able to move because the rate of change has been so slow. What is your perspective on these estimates and the legitimacy of the rate of change of the sea levels?
Bro, what's your name again? Rob? Yeah. That is by far the best question of the 2 days. Can you respond to that? You guys have a response to that?
I don't know what the timeline on like the estimates is, but like realistically, it's eventually going to become a problem. Maybe not within the next 50 years. I don't know when. Do you know when it was estimated at all?
Yeah, Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth. So go back, 16 years or so.
But it's definitely going to become a problem at some point in time, and like we can take action now to help alleviate it. Or we could just continue to do our own thing and care about America or ourselves.
So your take is that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
whatever the timeline is, it's going to happen. Morgan, number 2.
Also, maybe the impacts of it aren't as largely felt in the United States right now because we are a pretty well-developed country, but in other countries, in like India and like I think you were saying the Philippines and countries that don't have as much infrastructure to handle the impacts of climate change are already suffering incredibly, and I think it's maybe not what we see on the news most importantly every day, I guess. Not saying that it isn't important, it is, but not like the headlines right now.
No, this shot is actually Bangladesh. And Bangladesh, it's an area of Bangladesh that's flooded every year because that's just the nature of it. But the flooding in the past, like 5 years or so, has been unprecedented in a way that they've just never possibly experienced. Bro.
Can I answer that question real quick?
This one?
Yeah.
Rob's question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Justin.
Justin?
And I just want to mention that it's not just the sea level rising, it's the climate change in general. As the storm that you've seen throughout the southern part of the U.S., especially the one that hit Houston, that was really big. And I think it did more damage than Katrina from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm. So it's not just sea level.
Yeah, it's not just the sea levels. It's also the ecosystem. It's the storms and different weather conditions. We had more snow this year too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man. One.
Actually, I have a
Nah,
question.
you already asked the question. Anyway, who else has a question? One final question, brother in the back.
Hi. So I want to preface this by saying that I am a believer in climate change, and I think it's really important that we pay attention to it in the future. But one thing that we face when trying to stop the effects of climate change is like financial loss. So even in the United States, you know, we're the wealthiest country in the world. Even our government is struggling to find ways to like dedicate money to fighting climate change, and you know, obviously a lot of people will be affected by this over the next 50, 100 years. But in countries like Bangladesh, like on the slide, almost everyone lives within like a very short range. So they're a much poorer country than we are. So how do you propose that we move forward and try and fight this?
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Hey, I let you all like say some things on this one as opposed to just asking the questions and letting them answer. But you, the two of you did a great job. Thanks. Morgan number 2, Morgan number 1. All right. Last one. And who wants to take this one? You know who I need, who I'd like to have? Sorry, dude, I'm pulling you off again. Someone who's African American, not black, who's black American, African American. How about that? Who wants to take this one? No, the question is who wants to say something about Native Americans? So, a black person, though, in class. Someone at the top. Nah, dude. You already asked your question. No, someone else. Who wants to go? Come on, really fast. We don't have much time. Who wants to take it? Do you want to take it? All right, you're on. Come on. When's the last time you were in Ethiopia, by the way? Yeah? We're in Addis? Yeah. All right, man. What's your name?
I'm August again.
What is it?
August.
August?
Month.
Wait, were you up here before?
Yes.
Oh, dog, man.
Dude, you did that whole sad thing where you just looked around the room waiting for someone to volunteer, and I felt bad for you.
No, hang on. No, you don't have to feel bad. Let me get somebody. I need somebody else who hasn't been up here. Come on, someone real fast. I want a black person real fast. Come on, black people, step up. Come on, man. Somebody. Dude, I'm going to pull somebody out. Yo, do we have somebody? Who's going to do it? Dude, it's going to be you haven't done it yet, right? At the top? All right. You haven't been down here? All right, come on. Yeah, you. All right, you're on, man. Come on. Yeah, no, you don't ever have to feel bad because no one volunteers. I'll just pick somebody. You were going to get picked next, man. All right, bro. What's your name and Native Americans?
I'm Daniel.
Daniel. All right, man. All right.
Hello, y'all. I'm Daniel. I'm actually not American. I'm actually Canadian. That's why I feel like I can speak.
Oh, cool.
about
Even
this.
better.
So I guess when it comes to Native Americans, I guess between even Canada and America, they've kind of been displaced throughout, time from like way back in the 1900s to even up until today. They still experience a lot of, I guess we can call it discrimination, correct? Discrimination, and, have the effects that like most people don't really, pay attention to. And
Wait, most
their
people
land.
don't pay attention to discrimination of Native Americans?
Yes, essentially, and also like the effects that they have gone through over time of being displaced and forced off their own lands. And so, I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of screwed up. And I know predominantly in Canada, a lot of times Native Americans are now reclaiming land that's sacred to them or has been sacred to their culture or traditions in the past. And so, yeah, that's all I can really say about it right now.
So what do you think is behind discrimination against Native Americans or indigenous peoples being overlooked? Why or how is it overlooked? Like, what's the reason for that?
I'll say it's overlooked just due to like history and them kind of being seen as inferior, predominantly from the British initially. I know in Canada, like that's what it was. The British people or British settlers came over to Canada and, you know, forced a lot of Native Americans off their own land, you know, took the resources, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for America as well. And so that's kind of why I think it's overlooked, because it happened so long ago that they kind of have been put in reservations, you know, in Arizona and other areas in America that kind of, you know, let them do their own thing and let them be over there on land that necessarily isn't really inhabitable or the best for, you know, living on.
So you guys you have reservations in, where are you from in Canada, by the way?
Toronto.
Toronto? You have reservations in in Canada?
Yeah.
How many, do you know?
I do not know that.
Right, man. Question?
My name's Tevin, and I agree with you with your saying that it's being overlooked because, like, you know, with history, like with, like, I think Andrew Jackson or something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong with history. A long time. Like the Indian population been decimated, where it's to a point where it's like overlooked, and today they're slowly like building up, and I feel as though it's like that like nobody's gonna speak up for Native Americans because it's not like can anybody raise their hand if they're Native American by any chance? Like, so it's like, as you can see, there's like very few people in this classroom. So I feel so like if you're in like public and you're going to talk about like Native American issues, you won't find that person to be there for them to speak up. So I feel so as us as people should speak up for other cultures when we have the chance. And also my question is that how do you feel about like the Redskins promoting the like Indians on their like selling merchandise and
like that dude up there in the photo. Yeah, what do you think about that dude in the photo? Thanks, man.
Honestly, when it comes to that, I think it can be one of two things, really. I mean, there could actually be Native Americans or people who are in support of Native Americans that, you know, are kind of wearing that for their own tradition and culture to kind of like, you know, feel brought in. And then there are others, I think, who kind of wear it in a more disrespectful manner that kind of can be seen as offensive or, you know, not taken the right way, simply put, by Native Americans in a way, or based upon what they have gone through in the past.
Cool. How much do you learn in Canada, by the way, about Native peoples compared to? Do you have any idea like how much you learn compared to?
I know from like grade 4 up until grade 8, we actually had a Native American class in every class, and so we learned quite a bit about it at a young age. And so, like, once I kind of came to America in grade 9 and was in class, it wasn't necessarily put into the curriculum. It was more so you had to kind of take classes on your own, or learn it via social media or your own, or Google, obviously, to kind of like inform yourself about the history and past of Native Americans.
All right, wait, hang on. Don't put your stuff away. I'm going to ask a question, and then I'm going to do a really quick announcement. Question to you, Daniel. Do you know how many Native American tribes, nationally, federally recognized tribes there are in the United States?
In the United States, no.
How many do you think?
I'll say maybe like 100, 150 maybe that I recognize, I'll say.
How many do you think? 24? Bro, how many do you think? Our asexual, well, I forget what your name is, classmate. What is it? How many? Huh? Take a guess. 8? There's 576. I think it's 576 now, but
it's over 600 now.
600? Okay.
It's around
It's a shit
600,
ton.
and the most recent was Pocahontas' tribe.
Oh, damn. All right, so listen, y'all. Here's the deal. Yo, I expected 8, by the way, so 8's what usually people say.